Alright, it is time now for late night movie reviews with Seebert. That's me. I like to call myself Seebert. You don't like it? Sorry about that. Kind of like to think that as Siskel and Ebert are both gone, they've left us, maybe something of them has entered me, maybe not. But we shall see. Anyway, I like to call myself Seebert. That's what I'm going to call myself. So there you go. Alright, so now my quick movie reviews. Should you check it out? Should you check out like the plague? Doesn't make any sense. Should you check it out or should you just avoid it like the plague? That's what I meant. So anyway, I'm going to talk this week about Star Trek Into Darkness. I'm going to talk a little bit about Iron Man 3. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Oblivion and G.I. Joe Retaliation. I know, but at this point most people are thinking, aren't those movies kind of old now? They're like at least, like 3 or 4 weeks old. After 3 or 4 weeks in Hollywood, they're dinosaurs. They're Jurassic Park. But anyway, I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Anyway, so that's right. Welcome to my show. Let's have a little bit of theme music. That's it. Alright, so first let's start off with G.I. Joe Retaliation. Is that a movie you should check out? Well, obviously it's a little late for you to check it out. If you missed it, then you're probably not missing it at all. It was a big budget action film. Every cut in that movie seemed to last about 5 seconds. The Rock was The Rock, as he always is. Not his best performance. He was better in The Scorpion King, if that means anything to you. Not a great movie, but it was better than the first G.I. Joe. Not really saying much. A fun movie. But anyway, so moving on to Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise. Now, if you haven't checked that out, it's still playing in theaters, unlike G.I. Joe, which is going to be at your video store. So if it is at your video store and you're into G.I. Joe, why didn't you see it in the first place? And I guess my opinion for G.I. Joe was that if you're a fan of G.I. Joe, then you've seen it, and you already have your opinion. And if you didn't see it, it's because you're not a fan of G.I. Joe, and you wouldn't have liked the movie anyway. So, if you're into just big explosions, rent the movie and, put your brain on hold, because that's what you're going to have to do with this one. Because the movie doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And like I said, every cut lasts about 5 seconds. But anyway, going on the exact opposite of the extreme is Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise. Decent movie. I really enjoyed it. It took me in places I was not expecting. If you're expecting Tom Cruise, action mode, sci-fi guy, kind of like, Star Wars meets Mission Impossible, this ain't that type of movie. It's actually more like Tom Cruise starring in a remake of the original Planet of the Apes, directed by the original Planet of the Apes director, in very much an original Planet of the Apes way, which is, again, not really an original, since Planet of the Apes already did it first. But anyway, it was nice to see that this new director tried to do an old 70s style movie with modern, 2013 special effects, and it really worked for the most part. But if you're expecting to see a lot of Morgan Freeman or whatever, the trailers do not do this movie justice. They make it look like it's a big action film, and it really wasn't. But anyway, it's not playing a lot of multiplexes anymore, so I would probably say when it comes out on video, definitely check it out. If you avoid it in the theaters for whatever reason, because you don't like Tom Cruise or whatever, you're probably not going to like it still, because it's got a lot of Tom Cruise in it. But, I don't know. I still liked it, so I think you should check it out. Or I checked it out, and I enjoyed it. So I give it, whatever, how many stars, I don't know. After that, now what else is coming out in the big Hollywood scene? Well, of course, the next we got coming up, Iron Man 3. So now, if you haven't seen it yet, what are you waiting for? Comic book fans went out by the droves to go see it, which is really what the movie is geared for. The movie is also, aimed at, the teenage, fans who love, big explosions. And again, they all probably went to go see that in its opening weekend, or at least in its second weekend. If you haven't seen it yet, then you're probably not going to go see it. But if you haven't seen it yet, and you're looking, I really would like to see an action film, again, what were you waiting for? It's a great movie. I will give it that. But if you are a fan of the comic, you're going to be extremely disappointed. Why? Well, I can't really tell you why if you haven't seen it, but go see it. I will tell you this: they make some major league, changes, shall we say, to one of the main villains of Iron Man lore. And my feeling was, if they had just not used the name the Mandarin, then the movie would have been probably not, would have offended nobody. And the movie would have been 100% better. I felt just by using that name alone kind of hurt the movie, because you're going, if you're a fan, you know who the Mandarin is, then you're going in expecting something. And the movie doesn't deliver that. This is not the Mandarin from the comic book. at all, in any way, shape, or form. It's a completely different take on the character. And it does stay true to some of the storylines that were in Iron Man comics, but not. It still takes a lot of liberties. In very many ways, X-Men is a lot more true to the origins of their characters than Iron Man was. Or at least Iron Man 3. Iron Man 1 and 2, very true. They change a little bit around here. Whiplash in Iron Man 2 isn't exactly the Whiplash from the comic books. He's more the Crimson Dynamo, but with Whiplash stuff kind of thrown in. He's kind of an amalgam of both. But overall, Iron Man 3 I thought was still a great movie, worthwhile, had all the right action, all the right notes when it came to story, all the right notes when it came to acting. Robert Downey Jr., we can't lose him as Iron Man. His contract is up, but you know he's going to come back for the Avengers. He's not going to pass that up. For the Avengers 2, that is. Anyway, so now, once we got past Iron Man 3, the next big summer blockbuster this summer was, of course, Star Trek. Now, this is where I really want to talk about. Because it's the newest one, and if you haven't gone to see it yet, and you're wondering, should I go and see it? Well, what does Seebert have to say? Well, I'll tell you what Seebert has to say. Seebert says, go see this movie right away. It is, in many ways, if you haven't seen it yet, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but most people know by now who the villain is and everything else, and what the changes are. But for a Star Trek fan, it definitely took Star Trek and moved it into the 21st century. It's got much bigger action than any Star Trek film ever had, including J.J. Abrams' last Star Trek film. So the action is bigger, the acting is bigger, and in many ways better. Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and the rest of them are all really growing into their characters now. They're not. Yes, sure. Scotty is still, in person. Scotty and Chekhov still have to do those accents. You can't get around it. It's just, but now they're making the characters more their own, especially Spock. With Zachary Quinto as Spock, he's now more his version of Spock than impersonating Leonard Nimoy. Same thing with Chris Pine as Kirk. And overall, it had great action, a great story. The special effects were through the roof. I didn't see it in 3D. I saw it in 2D, and I felt that was fine. I didn't feel like I was missing anything by not seeing it in 3D. And from the few people I know who have seen it in 3D, they basically agreed with me. They got stuck seeing it in 3D and felt, the 3D fad is kind of getting old by now, and this film did not need to be in 3D. So there you go. So Star Trek Into Darkness. My quick review: go see it. If you're into science fiction, if you're into action, if you're into good storytelling, whatever. Take your girlfriend, or girls take your boyfriend, or girls take your girlfriend, and boys take your boyfriend. I don't care who you take. Just go. It's a lot of fun, and I couldn't give them more raves. I actually thought that for pound, it was a better film than Iron Man 3. Some people might disagree. Some people might agree. Who knows? I don't care. It's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. You don't like it? Then get your own opinion, which everybody out there probably will do. But if you want someone to tell you whether or not you should go see this movie, I'm the one who's telling you should go see this movie. But then again, I don't know who you are, so I'm just telling you if I liked it or not. That's my opinion. So anyway, after that, what do we got coming up? Well, of course, we've got, in the world of the comic books, we've got Man of Steel, the big new Superman film, which looks amazing. You got Kevin Costner making what looks like going to be a nice comeback film for him. We've got brand new Superman, brand new actors playing Lois Lane. You've got the guy from, I think, Game of Thrones playing General Zod. This movie looks like it's going to be incredible. And, of course, Colin Farrell as Jor-El, the father of Kal-El, a.k.a. Superman. So that looks great. We got the Wolverine, which looks amazing. Then further on down the line, we got the new Thor, the new Captain America. Great movies. We also got This Is the End, the new comedy starring James Franco and all those guys all playing themselves, and it looks really hysterical. Hangover Part 3 coming out next. It's something you should go check out. I'm sure I'll go check it out myself. Then I'll tell you if I thought it was worthwhile checking out. Anyway, so that's my quick show. Quick look at the movies. Maybe that's what we'll do. Anyway, so check me out next time when I decide to go see something else, and I decide to tell you what I thought about it. Alright, thanks a lot, and that's my show. And here's my credits. There we go. Take care. Good night. awesome theme music.